What I'm tired of seeing is hatred passing as racial healing discourse. And I'm sick of it. I'm Palestinian. I was born and raised in Texas. I've been watching this whole thing the whole time. Black and white people, y'all are equally effed up. You equally got issues. Um, I'm sorry, you guys, because literally always been team, always been team melanin. I've always been team melanin, and I am just like shocked by what I have seen in the past few years that has completely shaken my worldview. The melanated community is completely overrun with NPCs, bots, witch hunters, slave owners, and slave catchers. And it would be totally remiss for me not to talk about it, given that it affects so many of my constituency so deeply. And there's a reason why in the sex worker rights movement we cannot speak openly and plainly about the epidemic that is pimping. And if you look like me, you need to be worried about pimping by a black man who pretends to be your boyfriend, or a lesbian, or a black lesbian that pretends to be your boyfriend. And the fact that the only conversation about race that we can ever have openly in the sex worker rights community is that there are thin black professional strippers that can't get hired at racist white gentlemen's clubs. Yeah, that sucks. Guess what? I can't get hired at that shit either. And I've never, and not once at a single point in my career ever as a sex worker, would have qualified to be able to be hired at one of those clubs. So why is it my problem if you can't get hired, but then it's not your problem that there's black men targeting bitches like me for pimping? And if we're being honest, if you already from jump know that you have an aversion to people who are not your race, or you have a lot of trauma from people who are not your race, whether it's your personal trauma or secondhand trauma that was put on you, be honest about it so you can heal. What I've realized and noticed is that, like, we've all, for people who have been in community cross culturally, we have all have trauma and we have triggers, and we've likely, everybody, if you're watching this and you're tuning in and you're resonating with what I'm sharing, you likely have been able to notice patterns in the people that you've dealt with. And now there's might have been a lot of cloudiness around these patterns. It's because of Neptune. The placement of Neptune is shifting along with Pluto. So we're able to dig into some of those deeper unconscious, bigger picture, older earth patterns, because what we're inundated with on a daily basis is just very regular, monotonous, mundane, but there is larger influences that we feel in ourselves. And so people don't normally take note of these. That's why there is spiritual translators, like people like me that pay attention to these things. And you don't have to be like a scientist or like an expert on astrology. You just have to be able to feel yourself and feel in tune with yourself, good for good or for bad. And so there's this basically this deep unclenching, and it's coinciding with a massive wealth boost for specifically the Magdalena lineage, which is a lineage that runs through all different ethnicities and nationalities. And it's because what you see, oh my God, well, get the fuck. No, bitch. You better get the fuck. Bitches don't like it. Where's my dog? Get your roach ass off of here, bitch. Get your roach ass out of here. See, bitches don't like it. That's what I'm saying. They always send roaches. Who is doing that in their witchcraft? That is some New Orleans ass shit. That is the funniest shit ever. Bitches literally be sending roaches. And I'm like, that's all you got, bitch? I'm not scared. Oh shit. This is a good feeling. I've officially gotten to the point where like everybody that needs to be scared of me is scared of me. I feel secure. I got my security that I need to be able to talk my shit and confidently, because when everything crumbles underneath your feet, that's when you learn the true meaning of spirituality. You need to build yourself back 100 times. If you can't do that, then you ain't doing shit. This is the lifetime for living multiple lifetimes in one lifetime and running through it really fast and burning out that karma from past lineages. I am so excited to see the shift in the culture. I feel like I felt so isolated for so long. I felt so alone, and now I see that I'm not alone at all. Everybody's been on the same wave I have. I've been polarizing my magnetic fields because it was because basically what we've been dealing with these past 5 years especially is a rapid polarization of masculine feminine energies that were inverted, and they were inverted because of war, poverty, famine, sex slavery dynamics where women had to take on the masculine role. Because divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy go together. It's actually very rare for people to be gay, but it's not rare for kids to go through a phase like in their 20s where they become gay. They're in a sexually experimentative phase, and they're also, that's part of their that initiation portal of that time is the sexual initiation portal. So they're just trying different things. It doesn't mean that that's what they're going to be forever. Oops. Dang it. God, what the hell? Oof. I ate. That was just so funny how that popped out. Boo. Graduation. It's talking about the graduation. What is so crazy? How is this my life? It's super easy. I just sit on a balcony and read cards and talk to people. I worked my ass off, developed this expertise that nobody else has, and yet everyone craves. And a lot of people will be really offended to hear me say that because they think that they have the expertise to. This is the thing, what we're dealing with right here is a hubris, spiritual ego. Where you don't have to be the best. You don't have to. There's a spiritual hijacking of that, like, nerd ego. Be careful. It's like this weird alchemy that happens when you start making money for your spiritual gifts. And you become like a very the word is untenable, an untenable person. The sooner the better. The sooner that you do that, the better. Gotta be me. Yeah, me. You've been far too available for far too long and so emotional because you were wronged. You left that old frame behind, and now it's like so clearly not your kind. You are awakening yourself anew, tried and true, through and through, because what you know is what you show, and what you love is what you grow. Cool. Freestyle. That was cool. Yep, it was off the dome. Mwah. That was for us. You have like a lot of supernatural help around you. This is going to be scary how easy your life is getting. I love this for us, the collective, because of the King of Pentacles. You have so you have the King of Pentacles, you have the King of Wands, you have the Jack of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Wands, you have the Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, you're in a soulmate union. You left the old place behind. Like, some of you guys moved together. Okay, so this is good to hear this update on our moving message, because as I've been doing all this energy work on the famine, refugee, poverty, sex slavery, blocks to divine union, I've had this ongoing storyline for like over a year of moving. Like, that's been the message in the tarot readings, has been you're moving, you're moving, you're moving. But like it was like unfinished. Like, it was like liminal space. So now it's like the hangman standing on his own 2 feet, basically. It's like you got so used to being um, like upside down that it's just like being right side up. Like, you've been training, like you've been training for this. Yeah, also you have a secret. This has to do with the secret. So now here's the part that's been getting very complicated in these readings, is the shielding, like all the shielding and all the secrecy. Because one of the things that people are doing in their readings is they're basically like planting someone else as them, so that when a person goes to read on them, it'll read that other person and not them, which is actually a pretty good technique to use if you want to protect yourself. Because really doesn't matter if they're not reading you. It doesn't really matter who they're reading. If it's not you, they're not getting the information. As long as it's not somebody that's like similar enough to you that they would be able to follow you through that person. Or that's another thing too. There's these psychic spiritual connections going through with a lot of y'all. Peoples are very psychic. They can remote view you. Like, some of y'all are not seeing how psychic some of the people around you are. It's caused you at a deficit because they can see things that you don't know they can see. But it's like, that's the benefit of being fully in your truth and not hiding anything. And sometimes you would be surprised at how freaky some people want you to be. Because I think that the divine feminine is dealing with a lot of sexual shame over her sexual appetite. It's not even just sexual. It's like, it's the part of her that's a bottomless pit of joy and can never get enough of everything she loves. And just literally is like a slug on the couch, doesn't want to move, and just wants to receive everything that she needs. So there's a lot about charity that's coming up here, because it's like you basically have an idea of how you want to give back and what you want to give back and what you want to be seen doing. It's about your graduation. Skibidi. Skibidi bidi. It's about your graduation, because when you moved, it wasn't about the location, it was about the state of mind. It's a whole different frequency, and that's how you did it, because it was almost like you basically just like vibrated to a certain frequency, and that's how you did it. And so you want to take this time now to really reflect on the process so that you can repeat it and you can teach it. And it's a process of moving. It's like basically like quantum leaping. So it would look in the regular world, it would look like moving. That's what it would be symbolized as in the 3D worlds. That would be the symbol of it, is you moving. But in the quantum field, it's you jumping timelines to a parallel version of reality that's completely different from the one that you came out of. So now the weird thing will be going back to parts of your old self and parts of your old life, and that's for some of you, that's something you might not want to do. Because why? You see something differently than you ever saw it before, and you don't feel it anymore. Let's feel into this. This is the refugee trauma of escaping. Like, this is literally a traumatic, a trigger, a intergenerational trauma trigger point. It's located in the upper back. Oh, sheesh. All right. So one of the things I'm going to say about this, the reason why I teach stimming in my Reiki class is because it is so important for you to be more focused on your own physical sensations and how things are feeling for you when you're doing energy work than you are on what it looks like for other people. And for a lot of people, their energy work is like, ah, and they like, it's like, so this is not an aesthetic, it's life-saving technique. sometimes you just sometimes you just you have to realize that it's not spirituality, even though we love it. I'll turn the look. Okay, bitch. We might love to turn a look, but it's not about being in costume and performing. It is about a deep rooted physical sensation that you can't feel if your soul is not in your body. And your soul is not going to be in your body unless you make it a hospitable place to be. And it won't be a hospitable place to be unless you're able to have the sex that you want to have. Say yes to the sex that you want and say no to the sex that you don't. And if you can't do that, life is worthless. It is not worth living, and you will not want it. You will hate it here. And this is the thing is, for survivors of childhood sexual abuse, a lot of people who's either, you might say, you started having sex early in life, or you survived abuse from an adult or another child. You might have just been curious yourself and just explored. You might have also abused another child. You might have been abused. You might know that. You might not know that. Like, so we're like sifting through the mist. We're looking through the history of this planet and the things that have taken place and how people have historically done things. So it's resonating because it's timely, because it's not just like it's not just for the people who have been cursed with it, it's also for the people who have been doing the cursing. Because where did this start? How did this originate? And why can't we talk about it without being afraid? And where is this fear, like where are we locating it? So what I'm seeing with the energy work that I've been doing, this is like, it's been so intense and so crazy, but it's basically been that, like, it's like, because of being in such dangerous situations over such a long period of time, um people have associated sex because they've been in situations where they've been abducted, they've been raped by, pillaging pirates and shit. And they weren't like, stop, it's okay, calm down. Calm down, Angel. No, I'm like, stop assuming that these were all white people. Why do you guys assume that? Like, why when you think of a colonizer, do you think of a white person only? Like, that's just so funny because I feel like that's like more racist than anything. It's like totally denies agency to actually like some of the, like, they still to this day the strongest fucking navy and army that exist. Low key. It's so funny. So I'm done with the idea that I realize it's a cult. It's a cult for black women that are gay. Sorry, guys, I don't know. Then it's like basically racial domination of like white queers. So I figured that out. I'm not part of that. Not into it. Y'all can have that. I remember getting so mad at myself because I participated in planning this fucking kink party with all these different faggot ass bitches. So I can't help it, but I felt tricked, and this is why I stopped participating in things. And this is the whole point behind my masterclass that I'm teaching, Cinderella's Revenge, is like, you have to release any dependency that you think that you have on being people's fucking scapegoat and villain and, free idea fucking giver, and like, because they'll always do some sneaky ass shit at the last minute. And here's the thing, this is like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, white people always do this, because black people will do the same shit. So that's fucking retarded if you think that you're just gonna talk like that and it's not rooted in hatred. Like, it's like, literally, yes, this white fucking dyke did this shit to me, but so what? If it was a black dyke, she would have done the same shit. I was mad. I am heterosexual and still would. Never mind. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me get stuck in my shit. But why? It's so weird. People are just so fucking weird. So I help these people plan the party, and then at the last minute, they decide unilaterally to have COVID testing at the door when I'm like fundamentally opposed to that. And it almost felt like it was like literally an act of war to me. And so then it fucking exploded, and this is just what it is for me. Like, it really is that deep, and it really is that spiritual. And when I feel like that, I realized that I just was like, oh, I don't want to be at y'all's fucking sex party. I don't want to fuck any of you. And I don't want you having access to my exposed naked body. You don't deserve it, and you're losers who spread COVID amongst yourself and then try to make other people feed into your fucking delusion. Like, I'm not the one at risk of spreading COVID. Y'all bitches are the ones that have COVID and take the tests all the time and need to. Like, I take care of myself. I don't even go to the doctor. And I don't care what the fuck, I don't care what the fuck nobody feels about it. I will only go in the case of an emergency. Because why am I going to willingly walk in there and subject myself to them? First of all, you can't have my blood. You don't need to know my menstrual cycle. I don't want to take anything you're going to give me. And you can't look inside my body. We have nothing else to talk about. Anybody that tries, see, this is the thing. This is, people get roped into going to the doctor by their loved ones. They get roped into doing things that they wouldn't normally do because they get guilt tripped into it by their loved ones, and the energy cords between them are so strong that they can't resist them. I am free. I feel good about me. It feels so good. It feels so good. I can't believe it. I was so afraid of getting into a relationship, and then I was like, oh, I'm not afraid of men. I'm afraid of my parents. I'm not afraid of being in a relationship. I'm afraid of being in a relationship like my parents' relationship. And so that's just like my little inner little girl that needs guidance to know that she's not running the show. Mommy is. And I feel like, honestly, this is a pivotal point of fighting for your motherhood right now, where we are seeing how much it's like there's like points of vulnerability that we are not gonna be able to take with us to the next phase of our lives that we have kept up until now. And it's really something to see how our mother wounds, our mother issues have been the things that have kept these wounds of vulnerability open to make us vulnerable to attack. And where these attacks have been exposed, it's been a good thing. Although uncomfortable, yes, it's exposing the roles of people's real roles in your life and where you went wrong when it comes to protecting yourself from the public. Because now we're talking about you being a public figure. So that's a shaky ground of protecting what's special and sacred to me and what's my inner life and my inner world, and projecting out to the outer world what I'm meant to share and how I'm meant to share it. I need water. Feel like more myself. Feel good. How about you? I need water. I'm about to go to the store probably. You guys. Um, let's see. Let's do one more spread to see. I've been like, I'm working up to a client reading, an ancestral reading, and I'm like, well, I want to say this. So I raised the price of my extended ancestral energy healing readings to 222, and I have a wait time of about 2 to 3 weeks. And this is my first reading that I'm doing since changing the pricing and changing the scheduling. Um, and I'm so glad I did this because this has been so labor intensive for this project. Actually, this is the thing with when it comes to this type of work, like your specialties, you'll there's a couple of things here. One is that you have to draw the boundaries and draw the lines between everything that you're doing because when you're running your energy, like when you're running energy and you're a galactic priestess, you can run a lot of energy. So you might really want to work on it until the job is done, but you might not actually be able to do that. So you really have to pace yourself when you see what you're working with and um, get as much as you can without over exerting yourself and letting people have a point at which you can have an upsell to give them more because they don't know. You have to be the professional that's leading and guiding that. What is this spread? This is like a ancient gypsy spread? What? So there was like a race of gypsies before this incarnation of gypsies. They were like mountain people. They had come from a sky wall down from a moon, not that moon, but it was Jupiter's moon. So it's like some celestial and um um extraterrestrial beings in the chat. Um so this is like a Cupid's knot. Okay, so that tells about relationships. Um, there's okay, so this is for a new reading. So I'm gonna stop this here and I'm gonna start again. Peace, healers, masalama.